Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, we're going to head back down to the state of New Mexico, but we're actually not going to talk about Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham. I know I have spent a lot of time, and when you have a tyrannical governor like that, who's just sua sponte suspending the inalienable rights of its citizens, yeah, it's going to get our attention around here. I actually want to talk to you about a move by a different group of gun grabbers in the state of New Mexico. Very interesting move. They were going to make a political statement. They definitely did that, but they may have landed themselves in trouble. In fact, they may have landed themselves in a bunch of trouble. I'll connect the dots for you and I'll explain it in just a moment. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about a move so dumb it makes the New Mexico governor look smart. Okay, so we're going to start with a hypothetical. I want you to hypothetically imagine that a group of people ran around from home to home, private residence, collected firearms without doing any kind of FFL paperwork, left them in an operable, I did not say inoperable, in an operable condition as defined by the ATF, and then delivered all of those firearms to a school. Crazy, right? And you would be like, boy, those people probably deserve to go to jail. Well, guess what? That's what happened down in Farmington, New Mexico. Don't believe me? I'm going to connect the dots for you here. So this is how it works. Town of Farmington in New Mexico decided they didn't want to have any more gun buybacks. Why? Well, because they're a waste of money and they don't work. So the group New Mexicans to Prevent Gun Violence decided, but wait a second, we're all dressed up. A gun buyback is like our Mardi Gras here. We got to go do something. So what do? They went home to home, knocking on doors, finding out if residents just wanted to, give up their firearms. And when they did so, they took possession of the firearms. Now, under New Mexico law, and most states for that matter, when you take possession of somebody else's firearm and you're not a family member or anything like that, that is a transfer, okay? And transfers of firearms are governed both by state and federal law. Okay, what did the New Mexicans to Prevent Gun Violence do with all of those firearms that they had illegally collected through a bunch of illegal and undocumented transfers? Well, they then cut them in half using a bandsaw. So they're inoperable now, right? Oh, wait, they're not inoperable. Yeah, you see, because the ATF, your good friends over at the ATF, yeah, they have a very, very specific way in which you have to render a firearm inoperable. And if you don't do it this way, well, then the firearm is still considered operable. You see here, you have to use a certain type of torch. You must be at least a 1/4-inch metal cut. It must be made at angles, and there must be cuts on 3 critical locations. If you don't do it that way and you merely saw it in half one time with a bandsaw, well, you still have what the ATF believes to be an operable firearm. So now that we've established that this group has illegally taken possession of a whole bunch of firearms, and those firearms are still in an operable condition, what do? Oh yeah, they take them to the local high school. And then, of course, once at the local high school, all the kids were able to use the material from those operable firearms to make anti-gun art pieces. Now, here's the thing. The New Mexicans to Prevent Gun Violence is saying that absolutely positively they did not conduct any type of illegal transfers of firearms. That would be the case if we were operating under the old New Mexico law. But no. You see, that law was amended a couple of years ago, and this absolutely, positively, and without a doubt constitutes a transfer under New Mexican law. Now, it's really interesting that the New Mexicans to Prevent Gun Violence didn't realize this because, well, after all, they're the ones that proposed and pushed for that law. Now, when confronted with all of this, how did the New Mexicans to Prevent Gun Violence respond to all this? Well, they responded to it in much the same fashion that many Southern slave owners may have reacted to the Emancipation Proclamation back in the 1860s. Because what this group is saying is what's the big deal? We've always done this. We've done this a bunch of times. Okay, if we've always done it that way argument was actually a plausible argument. Yeah, we may have not had the Emancipation Proclamation. Oh, if the we've always done it that way was a good argument, women would not be voting. Okay, so in case you're still scratching your head and you want to understand what happened here, yes, a group that claims to be preventing gun violence went out and conducted a multitude of illegal transfers against New Mexico law that they themselves had actually proposed, then took those firearms to a high school during school hours. That is the facts, and they can say whatever they want, but that is the facts of the case. Now, it's going to be very interesting. The local sheriff is investigating this, and this is absolutely one of the most bizarre stories, and you literally can't make this stuff up. The good news, though, the good news here is Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham has now actually not done the dumbest thing as it relates to gun control in the history of the state of New Mexico. No, it is the New Mexicans to prevent gun violence that have done that. Michelle Lujan Grisham, you are now in the silver medal position. Now, if we were going to rank on which one has exercised the most tyranny, and we did that on a nationwide level, well, Governor, you're still in the running for that one. Listen, if you have any other questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. If you don't, that's okay. That information, it's right down there in the description box. Now, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.